I'd like to officially welcome you to the fall 2023 semester at NCVPS and to our first parent orientation of the 23-24 school year. Thank you all for being with us. As a way of getting you guys started in the text chat and of introducing yourself, I'd love for you to go ahead and in the text chat, let us know where you're joining us from, where in the state you are. Are you from a public school, a charter school, a private school, or a homeschool? And is this your child's first time taking classes with us? I'll get us started. I am Crystal Pullen, Outreach and Support Coordinator for NCVPS, and I'm joining in tonight from Wayne County, Mount Olive. I have been with NCVPS since all the way back in 2007, first as an instructor and now as the Outreach and Support Coordinator. And I'm also a homeschool parent of an NCVPS student. She's been taking classes with NCVPS for probably 5 years or so now. So I've had a lot of experience and spent a lot of time with NCVPS. And I'm so thankful to have all of you here with us today. So guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves in the chat. And since I'm not seeing too many of them, I'm going to give you guys a pause and tell you a little bit about our agenda. We only have a few things on the agenda because we want to focus on the things that you need right now. Those things being the first steps that you can take to get your child off to a great start, the student supports that we have in place here at NCVPS, and then where to find us after our session tonight, because we're going to share a lot of information and we're going to answer a lot of your questions. But I expect that tomorrow or a couple of weeks from now, or even towards the end of the semester, you might have other questions, and I want to make sure that you guys know where to find us. And then at the end, we're going to wrap up with some question and answer time. Let's go ahead and get the official part of our meeting started with greetings and a welcome from our Executive Director, Dr. Mia Murphy.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mia Murphy, the proud Executive Director for NCVPS. I've been with the organization for 9 going on 10 years now, and I am talking to you from Knightdale, North Carolina, but I work out of our Raleigh office. And I really just want to say we are thrilled to have you join us this evening as we embark on this journey of learning and partnership. So over the course of the orientation, you're going to hear lots of information about our virtual learning environment, curriculum, instruction, how to best support your student. I ask that you listen carefully, ask any questions that you have. And one of the greatest things that I always encourage parents to do is to instill a sense of self-advocacy in their student. This learning environment can bring about all kinds of possibilities, and your student can find their voice or a different voice. So again, thank you so much for your presence, and we look forward to our productive and informative session. So I always like to make sure everyone understands who NCVPS is in this virtual learning space. As Crystal said, she's been with us since the beginning, and the beginning was 2007, actually the summer of 2007. At that time, we had 17,000 enrollments, 77 courses, and 2 programs. And look at where we are now. So we average about 55,000 or more enrollments per year. We have over 135 courses and 7 programs. So that timeline in between has lots of learning, lots of rediscovery, and a lot of continuous improvement. So I do want to make sure you understand that this is not new to NCVPS. And I always say, I humbly say we are the best to do it. So thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for that welcome, Dr. Murphy. We're going to go ahead and start talking about the first steps that you can take as a parent or a supporter of one of our NCVPS students. And we're going to do that with the help of Ms. Joanne Buckshon, our help desk coordinator, who's going to talk to us about how to get started with a help ticket if you do have an issue. Joanne?
Thank you, Crystal. And as Crystal said, I'm Joanne Buckshon, and I am from Mooresville, North Carolina, in Iredell County. And I am the help desk coordinator here at NC Virtual. And I am going to show you the best way to open a help desk ticket. Some of the items on the help desk we can help you with are password resets, technical and course content issues, and general questions about NCVPS. The first thing you'll need to do before creating a ticket is to set up your account and teamwork. All students advisors, parents, and anyone who will be creating a ticket needs to have an account. Creating an account will allow you to see and track all of your previous tickets. To create an account, you can access the help desk at the top of our website or go directly to ncvps.teamwork.com/support. This image is exactly what you'll see when you log into Teamwork. And let me point out at the bottom of the page are our help docs. Help docs contain general information for self-help, and you may just find what you're looking for there. So from now, it's time to create a ticket. Just click on Sign Up, which is located at the top of the screen. So from here, you'll just enter your name, email address, and password, then click Sign Up. A verification email will then be sent to the email address in which you used to create your account. If an email does not come through, please check to see if it wound up in your spam folder. Once you access the email, which will be sent from NCVPS, you will then click on the verification link. This link will verify your account and will redirect you back to the customer portal. Once in the customer portal, you'll need to enter your profile with your phone number, and then there's a few other areas that you can add additional information as well. In the customer portal, you can also check on previous tickets, submit a request, and view self-help docs by clicking on the NC virtual image located at the upper left side of the page. So now you're ready to create a ticket. Click on Submit a Request. We ask that you be as detailed as possible when creating a ticket. Not all fields are mandatory, but we do ask if they are relevant to you to please include this information in the ticket description as well. Once all information has been entered, just click on Submit. You will then receive another confirmation email notification that a ticket was created. That ticket will then be forwarded to an agent who will reply back with a resolution as soon as possible. If an issue is not resolved and the ticket has been closed, replying back to a closed ticket will automatically reopen, sending an email notification to the last person that worked on your ticket. And that's how you open a help desk ticket. I hope that helped.
Thank you so much, Joanne. It is our hope that you won't have to use our help desk, either you or your students. You're going to learn later that our first line of defense for our students is going to be our instructors, but that's a good tutorial on how to open a help desk ticket if that time does come. Now, Sandy Griffin is here. She is our IT support analyst, and she's going to help answer one of the most frequently asked questions from our NCVPS parents, and that is, how do I monitor how my student is doing in an NCVPS class? Sandy?
Hey, good evening. As Crystal said, my name is Sandy Griffin, and I'm going to talk to you tonight about the Canvas Parent app. This is a great tool to help monitor your students' NCVPS courses. Now I'm just going to give you a high-level overview and talk about some of the issues that you may encounter. We have a link to our website at the bottom of the slides, and that goes into greater detail. So I encourage you to check that out as you're creating your account. Now, the first step is to obtain a student pairing code. This code is generated by your student from their Canvas account. Once in Canvas, they'll click on their account icon, go to Settings, and then choose the Pair with Observer option. And this will generate a 6-digit code. This code is good for one use, and it expires in 7 days. If more than one person wants to observe a student, they'll each need a unique code. The next step is to download the app, which is available for both iOS and Android devices. And once you've downloaded and opened the app, you'll choose NCVPS as the school. Next, you'll enter the pairing code. And honestly, if you're going to run into any problems, this is where it's probably going to happen. We recommend typing the pairing code directly into the app. Copying and pasting can sometimes cause an invalid pairing code error. Sometimes, even if you type the code in, you'll still get an error. If this happens, it's best to have your student generate a new code. And you may have to do this a few times before you get one that sticks. If you continue to get the error, please open a help desk ticket, and we're happy to assist with the process. Next slide. Now the app opens into the course grade tab, and you can tap on the name of the course for more details. You can observe more than one student from the app, and there's an option to toggle through each one at the top of your screen. And you can set alerts for things like late assignments, new announcements, or high or low grades. Once you're paired with a student, you'll continue to observe them throughout future semesters. If for some reason you need to stop observing a student, please open a help desk ticket and we will remove the student from your account. You cannot do this yourself. The app is a watered-down version of the web browser version of Canvas. If you want to see the course exactly as your student sees it, please access your account from a Chrome browser. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer them here tonight. My email is on my Meet the Presenter slide, and you can reach out to me at any time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sandy. I asked there in the text chat if any of you have already set up the Canvas app or the Canvas Parent Observer access, and Kim has indicated that she has. I set up my Canvas app and the Canvas Parent Observer access way back when my children first started taking classes with NCVPS in the 7th and 8th grade. I found it absolutely priceless to be able to keep an eye on their progress, keep updated on their grades, know when their due dates were, know if they missed an assignment without having to ask them. You know, I absolutely want to have the conversations with my children about what they're learning, how they're doing, things like that. But I also don't want to have to keep tapping them on the shoulder to find out. But this is a great way to unobtrusively see what's taking place in their course. So not only will you be able to see the grade for an assignment, with the parent observer access, you would be able to see the detailed feedback that our instructors are leaving. You can even set notifications in the app and the observer access so that you get a text or an email if your child's grade falls below a certain level, if they miss an assignment's due date, all kinds of things like that. Again, so that you can stay on top of what they're doing, especially if they're in middle school and especially if this is their first time in the online learning environment. All right, now those are a couple of things that can get you guys started in case you run into issues. Now we're going to talk about the student supports available to our students at NCVPS. And the highlight of all of this are NCVPS instructors. Not only do we have amazing content, but we have North Carolina certified teachers that help bring that content to life for our students. And we have Ms. Kendall Nifong with us today. She is one of our NCVPS instructors and an instructional leader. She's going to tell us about the instructor expectations and what your child should expect from their teacher at NCVPS. Kendall, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. I am really passionate about building relationships with students, and that is done in a large way through communication. All instructors value that, and I'm going to speak on that quite a bit through the next few slides. So I want to start off with NCVPS levels of support. There are, as you can see, many levels of support for students. I would start with instructors because instructors are the first line of communication for students. And instructors are available daily, Monday through Friday, to help with instruction and grading questions. We also have the Virtual Support Center. This is a support for all stakeholders, including instructors, students, parents, schools, and they can help with any course issue. Next, if you go around the circle with me, we have outreach and support staff. They're available to support all schools with student enrollment. I apologize for the dog in the background. And then we also have near and dear to my heart, the Peer Tutoring Center. This is an amazing resource for students that need class support. And what's so great about it is students helping students. Student tutors help students with their courses. And then lastly, e-learning advisors. These help with registration and school-based issues. So instructor expectations, I'm going to start with communication because as I said, that's the most important. It's a huge priority for instructors. Teachers communicate at least bi-weekly to students and at least 4 times a semester to parents. That really is the minimum. And in communication often happens much more frequently than that. And instructors check in their course daily and respond to student communication. Grading and feedback, that occurs by the next day after an assignment is submitted. Feedback is always directive, specific, and includes real-world examples to help students understand their scores and expand on their knowledge. Next is due dates and late work. Students are expected to work daily, Monday through Friday, and assignments are always posted with their due dates. Teachers will enter zeros if assignments are not turned in by their due date, but it's important to note that there are no late penalties if they do turn the work in late. but it is important to check with your instructor because courses do set limits on how late assignments can be submitted. And then lastly is modifications and accommodations. IEPs and 504s are going to be followed, and teachers communicate with the schools regarding the implementation of any necessary accommodations. So it's important to know what to contact the instructor for. Like I say, the instructor is kind of your first stop. So instructors are a great first point of contact for any questions about course content. If a test or quiz needs to be reset, maybe if something needs to be retaken, an instructor can help with that. Grading and feedback. Grades are input daily, and the feedback is given by that specific instructor. So always reach out to them if you have a question about a score on an assignment. And then lastly is course links. Teachers can help with any issues with a link. If it's a broken link or just basic assistance is needed, they can supply that support. And so just to give you a preview, if you have the parent portal, you can, this looks familiar to you. When you are logging into Canvas, you'll see this home page. And this is just a sample of what it would look like. In this example, we have civic literacy there. But the welcome page will pop up and there'll be a welcome message and basic course information. And below that will be getting started information. And then at the bottom left there, you're seeing quick links. And those are a quick way to jump around to course information, getting started information, modules, things like that. But the one you're seeing posted on the right is the Meet Your Teacher link. If you were to follow that in your student's course, it takes you to the page where you get to know about your teacher. Most importantly, the contact information is posted there. And then a little bit of about me and getting to know you activities is also available as the course starts. And so navigation is probably the most important thing when students are getting started, is to get comfortable with navigation. The courses are pretty streamlined. And so if you look to the left, you'll see that there are 4 options for students to choose from. They can choose home, announcements, modules, and grades. And all the coursework that they're going to be doing for the whole course is going to be housed within modules. Students can scroll through the module and they'll see assignments posted with the due dates. And from that page, they can click on their selected work and complete it by the given dates. There's a little notice at the bottom there. Students are encouraged to not use the grades tab or the to-do list. Sometimes it's called the coming up list for assignments. This is in an effort to make sure they complete the work in order and they don't miss an assignment through their module. And then lastly, grading and feedback. It's really important that students check the grading tab often in the course, and they will just do this by clicking where it said grades on the previous slide. The grades tab lists all student work and the score, and it shows the feedback. And you'll always be able to see the overall course grade because it will be posted in the top right corner. And the individual grades are listed beside each assignment along with the feedback. The feedback is housed in that little icon that looks kind of like a little talking bubble. And if they click on that, it'll expand. So what you're seeing at the bottom of your page there is the expanded view for what the feedback will look like. And this is the most important part of the score because the instructor will give that specific directive feedback that also has real-world connections to help them know what they missed, know how they can do better next time, and maybe even resubmit an assignment sometimes. And so then lastly, if a student really wants to dig into that feedback, they can click on the individual assignment and it will bring them to the assignment submission page. And they'll be able to see the expanded view of the assignment. It'll show the score they received on the assignment. It'll show the general feedback kind of in the top right there. And then teachers even have the ability to go through the assignment itself and post specific feedback along the way throughout so they can see certain instances where they had success or maybe need improvement. But all of those measures are utilized by instructors daily in their courses.
Kendall, thank you so much for taking our parents through those very critical elements of our NCVPS course and providing them some insight on how to best help their students navigate their courses. Next up, we have Kai, one of our peer tutors, who's going to be joining us to give you some specific tips for what our students can do on a daily basis to be successful and what you as a parent or supporter of your student can do to help them be successful. Kai, you can go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kai, and as a peer tutor, I'm most passionate about helping people improve their confidence. I have been taking NCVPS courses since I was in 7th grade. NCVPS offers a variety of courses, and for some, even middle schoolers are allowed to take them. I was interested in taking Japanese 1 and 2 as a foreign language course in NCVPS since my school didn't offer it. Taking a course in NCVPS was honestly hard because of the fast pace and daily assignments. However, I was able to pass the class by completing assignments on a set schedule and doing my best to turn in all work by the due date. Today, I will be presenting what both students and parents can do to be on track with work and taking an NCVPS course. So what can students do to be on track with work? First, log in daily and read announcements. Logging in every day is really important because NCVPS instructors post assignments daily and announcements really frequently. It is mandatory to work on assignments daily so you don't get behind, and also read announcements for valuable information. Next, check your messages on the NCVPS Canvas page. Instructors frequently send messages that include specific information just for you. Also, review grades and feedback. NCVPS instructors provide feedback for each assignment students turn in, as they believe that feedback plays a big role in the student's education. My instructor provided feedback on every assignment I turned in, and I noticed how that feedback assisted me in completing future assignments with a higher score. Whenever I got a high score, the instructor also motivated me with feedback. Finally, follow the pacing guide and ask questions. Do your best to finish your assignments consistently on a fixed plan. If you have any questions or concerns, ask questions. NCVPS instructors will always be happy to support you on this online platform. Ms. B, would you go to the next slide? Thank you. The next slide is about what can parents do. First, ensure that your child is accessing the NCVPS Canvas platform daily. Check over the Student Success Guide, which you can read and download on the NCVPS website. This guide gives you helpful tips for students throughout the semester. Next, make sure to check your students' progress and talk about it with your child whenever you notice that they are having trouble. Contact your child's instructor for help if you have concerns or your child is struggling for a long time. If your child is having a problem understanding the course contents or seems unmotivated, encourage them to try the NCVPS Peer Tutoring Center program. This is a program where certain students have completed at least one NCVPS course and have gotten a recommendation from an instructor will tutor NCVPS students who need help in their courses. I also tutor for the Peer Tutoring Center program. This program is really helpful to get help from students who have completed the course in the past. Lastly, NCVPS has webinars and collaboration opportunities where you can find the key to your child's success within that NCVPS course. And that's it. Thank you.
Kai, thank you so much for sharing from your own experience about what it takes to be successful in an NCVPS course. It does take that daily initiative to get in there and see it through. LaShawn Perkins, one of our school and support consultants, just shared a link in the text chat. If there is no other link that you guys get from tonight, you want that one. That one's going to give you those tips that Kai just talked about. It's going to link you out to our parent observer access again, how to set that up. There's links in there for our supporting online students video course, lots of resources for you as a parent or supporter of an NCVPS student. So if you get nothing else from tonight, make sure to grab that link. Now we're going to learn some more specifics about student engagement opportunities at NCVPS and a lot more detail about that peer tutoring center program that Kai just mentioned that she is a part of. I'm now going to turn it over to Oase, who is another one of our peer tutors at NCVPS. Oase.
Hi there, my name is Awais Kamran. I've been part of the PTC for about 2 years now, and there's quite a lot, as you mentioned, in the PTC that really helps out with student life. So within peer tutoring, obviously we have your normal live sessions, which is where you interact with your classes. But the main thing about the peer tutoring center is that if you're stuck on a question, you can go to someone who's actually taken the class before or someone who's experienced in the topic by searching it up. And then you can go in a live session with them to understand why you got a question wrong, just maybe understanding something about a topic, or maybe like something related to a piece of homework. So I'm a peer tutor myself. I peer tutor in a lot of courses. One example is AP chemistry. So once a student came to me, was really confused on acids and bases, and we went through for about 45 minutes to an hour just chatting about like different questions, trying to help them understand like buffers and neutrals and a bunch of other AP chemistry information. And then after that, we were also able to talk online through chat messaging, and I was able to give them more additional resources. So live sessions is really useful if a student is stuck and doesn't know where to go on a certain topic. But then there's also Virtual Buddy and ELL. So that Virtual Buddy is kind of more like a peer tutor is paired with a specific student for a long period of time. And this is from mostly to help those two, to help the tutor and the student become more engaged with each other. Because if you have that connection, then it becomes easier to learn from one another, and it's kind of like the relationship a student has with his or her teacher. And ELL is describing for English language learners. So if your student may not, or if your child isn't doesn't speak English as a native language, then there's still resources available for the students. So even if you're coming from a different background, you'll still can take the advantages that peer tutoring provides. AP Initiative, so you mentioned AP Chemistry. I'm also the lead for AP Initiative, which is basically a program that helps students specifically within their AP courses, because those courses can be really difficult, especially for some of the more math and science-based AP classes. But with the AP Initiative, you can get help from students who have gone through it before and actually understand like not just the course material, but also like what do they test on, how do they want to answer, how long do you get, like what is the feeling. So it's a really awesome program to understand like a lot about AP courses themselves. Student Research Alliance, this is like a so Student Research Alliance is a program within the PTC where you kind of get to learn about something specific. I know it's kind of general, but like it's similar to AP research. If you're really interested in a topic such as biochemistry, you're able to get resources and support for learning more about that specifically. Even if it's not related to what you want to go in, it's really useful for learning about careers. So it's any type of research you want to do, and it really helps you understand not just about the field as a course, but also for like a job or for college. College and career readiness, similarly, is kind of help you on the next step past college, past high school. So this is kind of help you out with writing skills, applications, scholarships, fees, the Common App, essays, recommendations. There's a whole slew of things that you have to use for college and career readiness, and this is what this program helps you out with. Writing Center, this is kind of related. It helps you out with um, like essay writing or homework writing. It's kind of intuitive, but it's kind of helpful as well because um, writing is one of those topics which is kind of hard to understand, but over practice and over time and a lot of mentorship, you're really able to hone your skills. Tech support is kind of similar. This is more for if you're having an issue with those live sessions, so you can't upload a file, or you need help understanding where to go on a Canvas page. Then tech support is also there to help. And in Tutor Talk, for this slide finally, is kind of like a podcast for tutors. So you get to speak about something that either you're passionate about, something that's been on your mind related to peer tutoring. Um, so I think there's going to be soon a topic related to AI or in ChatGPT with schooling and education. So Tutor Talk is a really cool podcast program for tutors to share their thoughts. And then two other programs that we have, which are free, are guest speaker series, and so this includes NCVPS Culture Cafe, and I work at CVPS. So Culture Cafe is learning about other people's backgrounds. It's like if you want to learn more about, say, Japanese culture, or you want to learn more about an Arabic culture, this culture cafe really helps you to understand those backgrounds or those different languages. So it's to broaden students' cultural and worldviews and understand different foreign cultures, maybe like kind of like help you think about like traveling abroad. So it's kind of helpful beyond academics to also learn about other people's societies and backgrounds. And iWork NCVPS is also similar, but for a more career readiness perspective. So recently, one example is that I'm not sure if this is related to iWork, but we recently interviewed, I think, a judge, a North Carolina admin's court judge, and that was a really high level position in what she was working in, and it was a great opportunity for students to learn about that profession, so about the law sector. So that was a really cool opportunity to learn about different careers, understand like not only what you want to go into, but maybe what you might not want to go into. So this is a really cool program for students. And then other student life programs. I already mentioned the Student Research Alliance, but then there's also in the middle, you see those language options. So those are related to uh, Japanese and Arabic Honor Society, or Japanese Club and Honor Society, as well as Arabic. So this is again to help students understand those languages, and if they excel, then they can also receive honors for those programs. And then on the right side, you see we have NC Virtual Coding Club and in the Stock Market Club. So this is to help students understand those subjects as well. I think in Coding Club, we recently participated in the Ready Set app competition, and then out of like 60 teams, out of 60 teams, there were 4 winners, and then 2 of them were from NCVPS. So it's a really dedicated program with a lot of passionate like coders and people who are really interested in software. So it's good to learn for any level. Like if you're an intermediate, if you want to learn about coding, if you're really passionate, you want to like take your skills to the next level, kind of like a hackathon, the Coding Club is a really good forum for that. And the Stock Market Club is similar. That one uses this program called the Stock Market Game by SIFMA, which is Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association. So it's like a game to help you simulate a pretend portfolio over 5 years with stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and it has like different levels of beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And it helps students really understand about the stock market, which can be really confusing at times. So those are just some of the programs we have at NCVPS to really help students get a more holistic understanding of what they're learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, OACE. I hope you guys can see how much attention NCVPS has put on developing student engagement items for our kids. It's not just about the content of the class. That may be what brings the student to us, but one of the things that keeps them engaged, not just in their class, but beyond that, are these things, these clubs and organizations and these different opportunities to give back. So please do encourage your student not only to be involved in their course content, but to explore some of these other options as well. Now I'm going to have the last little bit here where we're going to round out that graphic that Kendall shared with you earlier about the different levels of student support, with one of those being the e-learning advisor at the school level. So the things that you see on your screen right now are the things that should be directed to your school level person, that e-learning advisor. Things like your enrollment questions. So if you're a public school student or a charter school student, any questions about adding or dropping a course have to be directed to the public school. Things related to computer access or internet issues are all go back to the public school or to the enrolling school. We don't provide technology devices, and we can't do anything to resolve internet issues. Now, if your student does have computer or internet issues, you definitely want to get that communicated to the instructor so that they know if they need to make any adjustments for the student. Administration of state exams, whether it be ESCs, CTE exams, or all are the domain of the enrolling school. They're going to be the ones that procure the exams, administer the exams, and then ultimately document the completion of that exam. That's ESCs and CTE exams. Final grades for the course. Our NCVPS teacher will issue a grade for the class, and that will be shared with the enrolling school on a final grade report. It is up to the enrolling school to document completion of that course on the student's transcript. They're also the ones who will ultimately calculate in the final exam score, especially if it's related to an EOC or a CTE exam. So final grades are also the domain of the enrolling school. Now, things are a little bit different for our home and private school students, our non-public students. In those cases, the parents are able to enroll. So if you have a homeschool established with the state of North Carolina through the North Carolina Division of Non-Public Education, you are able to enroll directly with us through our non-public registration. We have ELAs at our private schools, but we're also working closely with parents of private school students. Our outreach and support office works hand in hand from the very beginning of getting those enrollments in, processing them, and then supporting you through getting the grades at the end of the course. For state exams, there are not any state exams for our home and private school students. State exams, the EOCs, and those CTE assessments are for public school students only. There may be teacher-made final exams and projects in the courses, and those would be required of any student enrolled in that class. It's also really important to note if you are enrolled in an AP exam or an AP course as a home or private school student, you will have to coordinate administration of that AP exam. You will find great results from most of our public schools if you call them up and let them know what exam you need to take. They will often provide you with a seat. If they're not amenable to that, you may look at a larger private school in your local area, and they're typically able to help you as well. Now, just like we mentioned for our public school students, those final grades are the domain of the enrolling school, and that's true of our private and homeschool families as well. We will give you the grade, but it is up to you to document that grade on your transcript. NCVPS is a supplemental program, and because we are a supplemental program, not a school, you must document the completion of the course on your own transcript. It is also really good to know that our core classes at NCVPS are NCAA approved if that is a concern for you. If you have questions about our home and private school program, you can note our non-public schools email address there on the bottom. And I'm seeing that Cynthia is saying that do the AP courses have limits to being 9th grade in the public school, such as not more than 2 or a range of choices? The selection that a public school offers to their students is completely up to the public school. They may set restrictions that only juniors and seniors take AP courses or which courses they're able to take. And we can't interfere with that choice for our public and charter schools. They're ultimately the ones who are setting those restrictions, and we must adhere to those. Now, we've done a lot of talking tonight. You guys have asked a few questions in the chat, and I do appreciate those of you who have asked questions. You may absolutely have questions after this event, and we certainly will have more information that we want to share with you after this event. But these are all the places that you can find us. We do have a home office in Raleigh, and you can note our main office telephone number there and our general info line as well if you want to communicate with our office staff. They'll be able to direct you to a more specific person based on the questions that you have. We also offer a NCVPS lunch hour every Monday through Friday from 12 o'clock to 12:30. It's staffed by our outreach and support department, and you can pop in. Our schools pop in, our parents pop in. If your student has a question, not content related, because I don't think we'd be able to help you with the AP Physics too, but we would try. But you guys can pop in from 12 to 12:30 to ask any questions that you might have on your mind. And of course, we are on all the social media outlets. In addition to having the Canvas Parent app, we also have the NCVPS app in the App Store and the Google Play Store. The biggest benefit of downloading the NCVPS app is you will get notifications about upcoming events at NCVPS. Now, that can be when progress reports are sent to schools. It can be the beginning and end dates for the semester. It can also be when our next parent orientation is taking place. We even have our Culture Cafe and our iWork sessions feeding into that app so that you can get notified when new things are happening. Our schools also follow us our newsletter, the NCVPS alert. It's less important that our parents have that information because you're likely getting that from your school already, but that's a good place to a good item to share with your school so that they can get the most up-to-date information about what's happening at NCVPS. Now, I am done talking for the evening. I'm going to mute myself and then change the security settings to allow you guys to unmute in case you have questions that we haven't already answered. All right, you should all have access now to unmute yourself to ask your questions, or you can continue to ask your questions in the text chat. Like I said, we have a large number of NCVPS staff with us tonight, ready to answer your questions. Beth is saying that her daughter is dual enrolled with NCVPS and a public school. How does spring break and other holidays work? Can someone share our NCVPS calendar link in the chat? Beth, considering that we offer our courses to all of the public schools in North Carolina, they have a variety of calendars. So our calendar is a little bit briefer in terms of holidays than most public schools. We're doing that so that we can be present and active and engaged with our students wherever they are in the state. You can see your specific course's pacing guide to know exactly how those holidays are treated in the course. But for the most part, communicate with your teachers in advance if you know that your child is going to be out or away for a specific period of time for spring break or for a winter break or any other time so that they can adjust as necessary. But we do have limited spring breaks and limited winter holiday because we're trying to meet the needs of calendars all over the state. And Courtney is saying, is there a set week for exams, non-AP, or does it depend on the course instructor? Typically, that's going to be the last 2 days of the semester. Some of our teachers will open up those exams a little bit earlier in that last week for students who are finished, but most of our courses are going to go up with new content until that last week. Then they'll have a time of review and preparation for that exam, and then allow at least a couple of days for students to take those exams. So you should definitely plan that the last week of the term will be for exam prep and then actually taking the exam. And then we have a question from our Samsung user, is the student required to do work or be online at a specific time? And they are not. Our courses are primarily asynchronous, meaning the content is available for students to work on anytime, day or night, any day of the week. What our teachers are going to be looking for is that the student is working regularly and consistently. Now, some of our classes do have required live classes. That would be our world language classes, some of our art classes, and more of our middle school classes. In those cases, it is strongly encouraged that a student attend those sessions live for that extra support, especially related to world languages, to have that opportunity to practice hearing and speaking the language. If a child is not able to attend that session live, they can watch the archive and complete a reflection assignment to earn credit for the course. But courses are primarily asynchronous, meaning students can work anytime. Now, as we're answering these last questions that are coming in, I do want to share with you, before you guys take off, a link to our open house survey. If you can let us know how relevant the session was tonight, if you have additional questions or things you would like for us to cover in a future session, we would love to hear from you. And Samsung is asking, is the foods and nutrition one of the classes that is live? And let me double check. I think that we had Ms. Jennifer Nobles with us. Jen, do you know if the foods and nutrition class has required live classes in it?
No, I do not believe it does.
Okay, and that's pretty good authority there. Jennifer Nobles is our director of curriculum. So I think we can be pretty confident in that answer. Thank you so much, Jen.
Absolutely.
If we've already answered your questions, I'll tell you thank you for being with us tonight. You have taken a great step forward in supporting your student just by being with us tonight and getting these resources that you can pass on. You will receive an email from me tomorrow that has all of these resources included. If you have questions after tonight's session, we strongly encourage you to reach out on all of these channels that we've shared with you. We want to make sure that you are confident in your student's place at NCVPS and provide you with any resources that we can to help you in support of your student. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share for tonight. I'll be around for another couple of minutes if you have any other questions. But again, thank you all for being with us tonight.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Please go ahead.
Thank you for this. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I just have a question. Would you recommend if a student wanted to move at a faster pace during the course, would you recommend that they do, is that a good thing? Or would you say that creating a pattern where you're just doing a little bit at a time, moving gradually ahead is better? Because my son would want to know, he likes to move ahead sometimes. And I'm a little worried about him moving too far ahead, too fast.
I think that our teachers probably would share your concern. I would say that you absolutely know your child the best and would be able to direct him best. Our teachers do permit students to work ahead as long as they are doing well. And I do mean doing well. In moving ahead, it's not just about submitting those assignments because, like I said, a little higher up in the text chat, the learning doesn't stop with the submission of the assignment. As long as the student is completing the assignment, reviewing the feedback that the teacher has left for them, taking action on that feedback and continuing to apply that, a student may be able to work at a quicker pace. But if a student is just submitting assignments, and not taking time to dig into that feedback, that would not be doing the student any favor. But that's something that you and your child can talk about with your teacher based on his performance to date, if he would be a good candidate for working further ahead. But keep in mind, there are also opportunities within the course for them to connect and engage with classmates, whether it be in a discussion board or a small group project. And if a student is bursting on ahead on their own, they may miss those opportunities.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
One more question. You did say that we were going to get a copy of this presentation?
Absolutely. I'll be sending out an email tomorrow to the email address you used to register for this session.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and end our session for tonight. Look for that email tomorrow and be in touch if there's more that we can do for you. You all have a good night.